Walter said, wait just a minute, Zig. I want to introduce you to this lady. And he walked over to her and he said, you know, I just want to tell you, you've got to be the greatest lady on the telephone I have ever seen in my life. You make everybody feel like you're just sitting there waiting for them to call so you can greet them. And he says, you're the first contact that we have with the public, and you do it so beautifully. And she smiled as you would expect her to and said, well, thank you very much, Mr. Haley. I really appreciate that. We walked away from there, down a corridor, and Walter said, wait just a minute, Zig. Want to meet this man in here. I haven't seen him yet. So he walked in, introduced himself. He said, my name's Walter Haley. And he said, I know your name, but you don't know me. But I know you because I've been watching you ever since you've been with the company. It's only been a couple of months. But he said, I want to tell you that you're doing an absolutely beautiful job. Haven't had the first complaint. And your job is so important to us that I just simply wanted to say thank you. Well, the man obviously was pleased at that, and he said, well, Mr. Haley, I do the best I can. And Walter said, well, your best is plenty good enough for us. We left there, we walked upstairs, walked into an office, and Walter said, wait a minute, Zig, you got to meet my secretary over here. She's absolutely magnificent. And then he turned to the secretary and said, you know, my wife thinks that you hung the moon. And she thinks that you can take it down anytime you want to. So as a personal favor to me, I'm going to ask you to please leave it where it is. I like it. Just keep up the good work. Well, rather obviously she was pleased at that, and she said, well, thank you very much, Mr. Haley. You know, I love my job, and I love working for you. And Walter said, well, you sure do a good job. We walked into the back office, and Walter said, Zig, I want to introduce you to one of the finest salesmen who has ever put on a pair of shoes. This guy knows more about selling life insurance than 98% of the people. He knows more, and he's forgotten more even than many of them do. And he introduced me, and I shook hands with the guy, and of course he was obviously beaming. Now, I have no idea how long the trip took. I suspect that it was no more than 2 minutes. But in 2 minutes, Walter Haley had motivated 4 people to do a better job that day. Now, I want to stress something. Those compliments were very sincere. He was looking for something good in them, and he found something good in them.